In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the user interface of Adobe CS4. So, very first thing that you come up to when you come to Adobe Premiere Pro is it comes up with this new project screen. Click on New Project, and it comes up with some general things about your project. The most important thing that you want to realize is where you're saving your project to. So make sure that you click on Browse on the bottom and choose where that location is going to be. When we're here in the labs, it's a good idea for you to use the thaw space and to create a new folder and save it in that folder. It's probably good for you to go ahead and use that folder, create the folder before you're in Premiere Pro, because you want to make sure that it is already created, because you can't change the name in here. Now, the next thing that you want to do is give it some sort of name. So I'll call it my sample project. And then we can look at some of these other things, such as action and title safe areas. I wouldn't suggest changing those. Display format timecode, which is appropriate. Display format audio samples for our audio. And then here's a big choice that we might have to make. Are we going to be doing DV or HDV capture? Or are we capturing at all? Typically, I'd tell you just to go ahead and use what's there. Click OK, and here's what it comes up with. Now, this is one of the major changes between CS4 and CS3 that you want to be aware of. In CS3, it comes up with a screen that asks you for what size or what resolution are you going to be using for your video before you create the project, because you can't have different timelines with different settings in the same project, but CS4 allows you to, which is really cool, because you could choose now to use a DV, and then you could create another timeline that's HDV, and then another timeline that's web video, and you can have all that stuff in the same project. Not so with Premiere Pro 3. So be aware of that. The setting that we're going to use, though, is going to be the DV NTSC standard 48K. Now, this is the 4:3 variety. If you want to play around with the 16:9 variety, you can do that as well, and that would be the widescreen. I'm going to go ahead and use the standard 48K kilohertz, which is for the audio. And you'll see what it says for the settings here. The settings are 720 by 480 high, 0.9 pixel aspect ratio, 29.97 frames a second. We've got our lower fields first, and then we've got some other information about how many video tracks, whether or not we have stereo tracks or not, and that will be good. Right now, the sequence doesn't have a name. It's just got sequence 1, but I might go ahead and call this sample, just so it has the same name. Now, we could change any of this information if we really wanted to. About general and tracks, we could change that. I don't necessarily suggest it, but you'll see that we've got a lot of different things that we can do about customizing how our experience is going to happen in Premiere. About the codec that will be used for editing, I'm going to be using the NTSC DV, so we definitely don't want to change it. But this will be, if we were to choose one of these other editing codecs, then it would, when we pressed on render our timeline, it would actually be saving temporary files in whatever codec we choose. We want DV because that's what we're going to be doing. Now, we could also change our playback settings so that it would keep track of if this comes up. Looks like it's taking its time. Okay, the playback settings allow us to change how it's going to work with hardware, such as if we have an external monitor or something like that. We're not going to worry about it. I just wanted you to be aware that it's there. So anyway, pretty much we just click OK, and then eventually we will see our interface come up with our first project and our first timeline, which is the sample timeline that we have right here in front of us. And we're ready to go on with the next video.